Hey everyone, I'm K.A. Will.
And I'm Gabby.
Welcome to another episode of Marriage Journey, where we talk about our own unique walk in marriage and the things that we deal with. We have a very, very exciting episode for you guys today. Something a little different. This is not going to be your regular episode. Do you want to share with them what it is?
We bought our first home.
We bought a house. As you guys know, like we mentioned in one of our past videos that we were looking for a home. We've actually been in an apartment since we got married. So for 8 years we have been renting, and that has been due to school, due to jobs and relocating and all this other stuff. First getting married, all that type of stuff. But you know,
we did it, man.
We did it. God is good.
Yep.
So this episode, we're gonna kind of just like talk about the process, the things we went through to get our first home.
Yeah, man.
So, what do you want to start with?
So why did it take so long, right? Because married for 8 years, but we got married right before I went to med school. And we knew that I would have to move for medical school, so we were like, that's not the time. Then med school is temporary, so no need to buy a house just to stay there for 4 years. And then, I mean, some people did, but for us, we didn't think that would be wise. And then you have to have like all the monies in order to buy a home, so we weren't there financially. And then went to residency and wasn't making doctor money yet. So that had its own... So we didn't have, again, the funds to be able to put down payment, closing costs, and all that stuff. But finally, we saved enough to put a nice down payment, closing cost, have enough money to do repairs that we need to do. And so very, very stressful time, very anxiety provoking, but I am so very excited to have a place that I call home, which the apartments were home, but it's like now it's my place, like it's my own. I'm not even big on decorating, but now I'm like, oh, I want to get, it's fine,
That HGTV.
Yeah, exactly. Interior designer help me with stuff, but yeah, so I'm really, really excited to have our first home.
Yeah, so I don't even know where to start. Man, you mentioned some stuff I really want to touch on. It was very stressful, so be prepared for that. If you've never bought a home before, never bought a house, it's your first time, it is kind of stressful because you've never done it before. There are a lot of things that you learn along the way. Nobody teaches you how to do all these things, how to go about finding a home, how the process goes. But definitely, and what we'll probably do, we don't know when our last episode is going to be in this apartment, but what we'll do is probably give you guys a tour when we get to our new house. So look forward to that. First time home buyer, I would say, just to give you guys some tips, I would definitely first figure out what your price range is. Like
the 2 years in advance of the time that you want to buy a home, know what your price range is, know what you're looking for.
2 years in advance.
2 years in advance so that you can save.
So, for saving, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say, but yeah, that does play a big factor. I would definitely say, know your price range. So it depends on how much % down you want to put, the down payment. I would definitely recommend putting down at least 15 or 20%. The more you can put down, the better, but you still want to weigh your options. And the reason why a lot of people recommend putting down 20% is if you put down 20% or more, you don't have to pay private mortgage insurance. So that's not, just so you know, that's not insurance on the house.
Right.
That's insurance on your mortgage, like your actual mortgage loan. So when you put down less than 20%, they want you to insure that mortgage.
Basically, if you put down less than 20%, they're like, but can you pay your mortgage? Can we
Right.
trust you? So just in case something happens, you're not able to pay. You're paying insurance until you catch up to 20%.
Yeah, basically your lender is covering themselves
Yeah.
in case you can't pay them.
Yeah. Basically.
So anyway, we decided to put down 15%, and the reason being we wanted to hold on to some of the money that we saved so that if we had to do like minor repairs, furnish the house, that kind of thing, we would have money left over to do that. Then the other thing is our lender, actually our PMI, private mortgage insurance, is a limited time. It's not for the life of the loan. A lot of times people get PMIs and it's for the life of the loan. So try to negotiate a way where if you do put down less than 20%, that you don't have a PMI for the life of the loan. Ours is only for the first 4 years of our mortgage.
Also, PMI can go up until there's 20% equity in the home.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was something that we learned, doing some research. Definitely do your research before you buy a home or get started with the process. But yeah, I would definitely say know your price range.
Yeah.
And know the location that you want. What else would you say? First things before you get an agent. Definitely know your price range.
Right.
Know the location that you want.
All the things you want in the home.
Yes.
Bedrooms, bathroom, square footage.
Deal breakers.
Right, deal breakers.
Like stuff that you do not, like if it doesn't have it, you don't want that house.
Yeah.
Know all of that
before
you get an agent. Because after you get an agent, these are the things they're going to be asking you.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, okay, well, where do you want it to be? What's your price range? What square footage, like you said, do you want? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Do you want a yard? Do you want a garage? That kind of thing. They're going to ask you all these things. So know all of that. Know what you want before you get an agent. After you get an agent, the process is pretty much you give them that criteria, and you and your agent can look at houses or look for houses, and then you start viewing. Your agent will schedule the viewings based on your availability, their availability. And I just want to shout out our agent really quickly. She did a really great job. Her name is Kim Daly from Daly and Associates. Thank you again for all of your help. Yeah, she did really well. So if you guys need one, you guys can look her up. Her name is Kim Daly from Daly and Associates. What else?
Can I say why we love her? She is a teacher at heart. Like, she taught us things because we're in our 30s, but there's still a lot of life that we don't know, and especially with buying a home, our first home. So she took time to explain things to us. We did a Zoom meeting just as a consultation, and we were able to ask all our questions, and that was the really big thing, was that she taught and she didn't shy away from our questions, wasn't annoyed at our questions, but understood, as a first-time home buyer, we'd be curious about different things and may not know things. So.
Yeah, and I really appreciated her energy. She has great energy. I let her know after we closed that the best thing about this whole process of buying a home was meeting her, and it really was. She did an awesome job. Yeah, love her energy. So on that note, I would say something else that I learned in research. They say it's best to get a buyer's agent. The reason being, seller's agent, they're more focused on selling a home for someone else, whereas a buyer's agent, if they're on your side, they are more focused on you buying a home. All right, and let's be real, that's how they get paid. So a selling agent, they get paid when they sell a home. A buyer's agent, they get paid when you buy a home. So that's the difference So make sure your agent is a buyer's agent, so that you know they are motivated by the same thing as you, which is you buying a home,
Right.
and finding one that you like.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know, maybe later on too, the other thing we can do, I was taking a lot of pictures as far as before and after with our current home, and what it looked like, and the minor work that really we didn't do anything major. I've seen way worse. So, because basically the two big things that we had to do was paint it and change out the flooring. Other than that, I can't think of any other major thing. I think, oh, and maybe an appliance.
Right.
Yeah. So, but other than that, there's really nothing else. After that, we're getting ready now. We're in the process of moving in. So, and that too is stressful. My lord. So yeah, but anyway, I mentioned all that to say that we'll probably do like some before and after pictures in another video. Show you guys the work that we did on the house, the stuff that we got done. Give you a little tour, what it looks like. What else? What I like about our property is the land. Because at first, you look at it, you're like, oh, this is a simple house. But then when you get to the backyard, it is huge. It basically looks like you can build another house back there.
Right.
It's a huge backyard. And we like that for our kids, because right now we have some not so nice neighbors that are attached to this apartment. And our kids cannot run and play and just be themselves. They're kids.
Yeah.
4 and 2. Well, our son, he's about to turn 2 next month. So we're glad that at least at our new property, they're going to be able to run and be free. They can make as much noise as they want to,
Right.
and just have a child's life, like enjoy being a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the motivating reason for moving.
Yeah, because at first we were like, oh, can we stay here another year? And, but yeah, like you mentioned, you asked a question and I never did answer before. Why did we wait? So you gave your answer. I think for me, another reason why we waited, we were, part of what you said, in so much transition.
Yeah.
And then we were trying to plan ahead. Like we planned for our kids.
Right.
And we wanted to do the same thing for our family when it came to buying a home. We wanted to plan for it.
Right.
As far as saving the money, having a down payment, all this type of stuff. So yeah, that was why we waited. And we didn't want it to be, like my wife said, she done with med school now, she's done with residency. We didn't want to add the pressure of finding a home to med school, and her career is already so busy.
Right.
We didn't want to add the stress and the pressure of that. And also, something I was just going to say, man, they be slipping me so quick. But yeah, we had our reasons. So that's why we said you have to plan for yourself. You have to do what's best for you.
Right.
As far as when is best to buy a home.
Look 5 years in the future. If you plan on move, or you want to be closer to family, or having major life transitions, job change, or whatever, just be aware and plan, or at least try to keep in mind. Is buying a home the best time? Like they recommend, if you buy a home, you have to stay in it for 4 to 5 years in order to get your money's worth, get equity in the home. Because if you try to sell quickly, you would, as a seller, you would be paying buyer and seller agent fee and other types of fees, and you might lose money. So, to go back to why it was stressful, or one of the reasons that made it stressful. So we bought a home in a seller's market. Guys, ruthless.
If it was.
What'd you say?
If it was ruthless, it was very ruthless. These people.
Man. So in a seller's market, there are not a lot of homes, and there's a whole bunch of buyers. And so sellers, in order to get the best bang for their buck or make the most money, basically, is to either raise the price, ask for the buyer to take away some contingencies on the home, give more money up front, higher earnest money, etc. So this was a very interesting time to learn about buying a home in this market. But we're grateful because the Lord, He showed up and showed out, and we still got our property.
Yeah. Just something on what you said. Yeah. This is still toward the end of COVID.
Yeah.
Where we started looking for a home. And the market, first of all, the interest rates were great. The market was, as far as homes, it was just booming for some reason. So we were able, like she said, because there were at least 3 other houses. There were 3 other houses where we bid and it just didn't work out. Either somebody outbid us or what else happened? There was something.
They were asking for us to bid more money. Make sure is this your best final offer? You sure? You sure you can't go up a couple?
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah,
I think it's called the appraisal contingency, where basically whatever you bid, if the appraisal comes back that the house is not worth that much,
right?
Usually, you can just pay what the house is worth based on the appraisal.
Be able to negotiate.
Negotiate. Yeah, but what they were doing in this market when we were trying to look for houses, we would make a bid, and then they would send us a message saying, "Hey, if the appraisal comes back lower, we still expect you to pay what you bid." And we were just like, "Nah, the house is not worth that."
Because the loan company is only going to give you what the house is appraised worth, the value.
Yep.
So then, if let's say,
we can give an example.
100,000. The house they're asking for 100. In order to be marketable and to give my best, say I'll give you guys 120, and then the appraisal comes back for 50. I got to pay.
It's not that bad.
We'll just say this, right? I have to pay 50 to 100, so 50,000 plus the 20,000 I said, 70,000, right? It's not as bad, but that's basically what could happen.
Yeah.
Either I give a 70,000 cash or
because to Gabby's point, the bank or your lender is only going to give you what the house is appraised at. So if they expect you to pay 120 and the house was appraised at 100, that 20,000 is coming out of your pocket.
Your cash, yep.
Yeah, personally. It's not coming from the lender. It's not going to be in your mortgage. You have to come up with that 20,000. So one of the places we wanted, that's what the person did, and we were just like, man, forget it. But the other thing is, you have to keep in mind that it's like you mentioned, earnest money. So that's a whole nother thing. Earnest money is basically money you put up after your bid and things start rolling.
Right.
If they accept your bid, you put up earnest money where that money is just held in good faith that you do want to purchase the house. Like you're showing that you really want to. So for example, I think most earnest money is, was it 10% of the, I can't remember.
Okay.
1%, I think it's 1% of the value of the bid, or 1% of what you're gonna pay for the house.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for example, if it's $150,000 house, your earnest money would be $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's 1%. But the good part about earnest money, that can go towards your closing costs and your mortgage. So it's not money that you're just putting out there saying, "Oh, I want this house," and then you never get it back, or you have to pay additional fees. It's still credited to you at closing if you end up with that house. Right. The other thing is, if you bid, you put up the earnest money, and then after that you have to do your inspection. You get a home inspection, and you find out, there's some things wrong with the house. At that point, you can ask the the seller or the seller's agent, hey, would you guys consider fixing these things that the inspector found?
Right.
And based on their yes or no, whatever you can negotiate, you can either withdraw your bid or work out something with them,
Right.
and you will get your earnest money back. But that is a limited time. They have a time period in which you have to get that done. All right, so that was something else. I just remembered what was the other reason why we preferred to stay in apartments until we were ready to buy a house. The convenience of apartments is someone else is cutting your grass. If any appliance breaks, they come in and fix it for free. All this is covered in your lease and your apartment fees, all that stuff.
Right.
What else? Like water spill or anything goes wrong in the apartment, you simply call the front office and they fix it. So because of our busy lives, an apartment for us for these past 8 years was awesome. So that was definitely another thing. Your trash, all of that, everything is done for you.
Right. No, definitely no regrets for staying in an apartment for 8 years. I know some people would look like, man, that's equity you could have put into a home, but that means that's money that we should have had already saved for, like we talked about, down payment, closing costs, whatever overbid if we bought in seller's market, maintenance stuff, fixing whatever stuff before you move into the home, whatever breaks down, lawn maintenance, etc. Like you have to be able to afford those things, and we just weren't at a place where we could, and that's okay.
Yeah. Plan it out for your household. Plan it out for your family. Definitely for me, it was just like, I don't have to, like I said, I don't have to do any of these things. So I just call the front office and somebody does it.
Right.
That was great for us. It really was.
Yeah.
The
experience that I had with buying a new home is painting. I never painted before. And, painters should get paid well. It is a workout. Oh my gosh. And the technicalities, you don't want the droplets on your wall because it looked like you put too much paint and got to, do first coat, second coat, primer, all that stuff. The trimming, my God. So painters should be paid well, guys. Make sure you tip them. but it was fun to be able to do that together. I know that's like Kareem likes to. He's a hands-on person, and like if there's something that belongs to him, he wants to work on it, and so that felt. So I could understand from his perspective why he wanted to work on it, and not just pay someone to do it.
Yeah,
just
it was.
Say that it's something I did. Some blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, it was fulfilling. It was fulfilling for me, and like I told you, painting. I realized. I was reminded it actually relaxes me. Yeah. Like to me, it's a relaxing thing to do.
Yeah.
But I did want to say this: if you guys enjoyed this episode and wanted us to continue doing episodes about our house or about the things that we did for the house or the process of real estate, let us know because we have a couple things that we're planning for the future as far as real estate is concerned. Yep. And if you guys are interested and want to follow us on that journey, leave a comment. Just let us know, and we'll keep you up to date on that.
So very, very, very excited to have first home, or what I call our first investment property. Hey. Building wealth, K&G culture.
That's right.
But yes, please comment if you want to see more. We would be happy to share our experience so other people can just see how it's done. Might not be the same for you, but at least you can learn something and hopefully not make mistakes. Not make like major mistakes.
Right. So. All right, everybody. I'm K.A. Will.
And I'm Gabby. Holla.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Marriage Journey.